The topic of today's discussion is circulation in human being. Transport in human being is also known as circulation because the blood is circulating in a closed circuit. From heart it goes to aorta, aorta it goes to arteries, arteries to arteriole, arteriole to capillary, capillaries to venules, venules to vein, and vein to vena cava and back to heart. So it is in a closed system, and that is why it is called circulatory system. The circulatory system of human being is consists of three components, that is the heart, the blood vessels, and the blood. The heart is known as the pumping device. First we shall discuss about the heart. Heart is 1 in number, located in the center of the chest cavity, this portion, and its lower end is slightly tilted towards the left. That is because of the large size of liver. The heart is well protected by a membranous jacket called pericardium, and a fluid is found between the pericardium is called pericardial fluid, which protect the heart from the shocks and jerks and pressure differences and resistance and frictions and other things. Heart is also protected by the case, which is having a sternum here, the ribs here, and behind it is got vertebral column. So that is why heart is well protected, and it is not generally damaged in a shot, or even in case of accidents, or in case of any beating, or even in some games like boxing and all. The four chamber of the heart, upper two chambers are called atrium and lower two chambers are called ventricle. Atriums are actually meant to receive the blood, and the ventricles are meant to pump the blood. At right side of the heart carries deoxygenated blood, whereas the left side of the heart carries oxygenated blood. When blood from all over the body is collected by the inferior vena cava from lower portion and superior vena cava from the upper portion, that opens into the right atrium. From the right atrium, the deoxygenated blood goes to right ventricle. From there, it goes to pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is the only artery in our body which carries deoxygenated blood. Then it goes to the lungs. In lungs, it gets oxygenated, and after oxygenation, the oxygenated blood comes and open into left atrium. From left atrium, it goes to left ventricle, and then through aorta, it is distributed all over the body. So this is how the heart functions. The wall thickness, if you see, the arteries are thin, atriums are thin, whereas the ventricles are thick, and the thickest one is left ventricle because it has to pump the blood to all over the body. So this is what the structure of heart. The heart is of close fist size and shape. So it is almost triangular in size, and whatever is your size of your fist, that is the size of your heart. So you need not to worry that big heart or small heart and all. It is all of the literal language. The second component of the blood circulatory system is the blood vessels. The blood vessels are of three types: arteries, veins, and capillaries. And these three are having the different functions. So if we see the direction of blood flow, the arteries always takes blood away from the heart. Vein always bring blood to the heart. And capillaries are joining arteries to veins. So in between, they are taking the blood from arteries to veins. The kind of blood which is there in arteries, it always carries oxygenated blood, except in the pulmonary artery, which carries deoxygenated blood, as just discussed. The vein always carry deoxygenated blood, except in the pulmonary vein, which carries oxygenated blood, as we already discussed. And the capillaries are the site of gas exchange, where the oxygen is given and carbon dioxide is taken, and vice versa. Wall thickness, if we talk about, the arteries are thickest, veins are having thin wall, and capillaries are having thinnest wall. Thinnest wall because of they had to give the various type of things or exchange of the things made there. Human size, that is the inner diameter, the narrow in case of arteries, broad in case of veins, and capillaries are narrowest. Walls are absent in arteries and capillaries, but are present in the veins, because when the blood is moving against the gravity from the lower portion, the gravity pulls it downward, and that is why when each contract or each beat of the heart, the blood is pumped up to a certain extent, and when the heart is relaxing, the blood comes and rests onto the wall. It does not move down. Location: veins are generally located on the surface of the body, whereas arteries are located in the muscles and capillaries are in between them. Pressure: since the blood is exerted by the heart, so and the blood is taken away by the arteries, so the walls of arteries, the pressure in the arteries are more, whereas the pressure in the veins are less, and pressure in the capillaries are least. So two components we have studied, and the next component is blood, the third one. The blood is, as you know, it is a fluid connective tissue, red in color. It found in an adult somewhere about 5 to 5.5 liter, and it is always moving. The blood is having two components, that is the fluid component that is called plasma, and the form component that is called blood vessels, blood corpuscles. Sorry. The plasma is pale yellow in color, and it is about 50 to 52% of the total blood volume. Of this, 90 to 92% is mainly water, and 8 to 10% are the dissolved substances. Whereas in the blood corpuscles, there are three types of corpuscles: RBC, WBC, and platelets. RBC is also known as erythrocytes, WBC also known as leukocytes, whereas the platelets are called thrombocytes. The RBC are red in color, where other two are colorless. The RBC had nucleus when it is formed, but it loses its nucleus in due course of time, because when the nucleus and other cell organelle are there, a sufficient portion of oxygen is used by them only, and then how it will transport more of oxygen. Since its main function is to transport oxygen, so it has to vacate the place. So it is leaving the place, it is creating more space for hemoglobin, and moreover, it is itself is not consuming oxygen. WBC has got nucleus, rather it has got multiple nuclei, and platelets never had nucleus. With red color pigment, hemoglobin is found only in RBC, other two it is absent. If we talk about shape, the shape of the RBC is biconcave. You might have seen the Poppins candies. So as they are thick at the border and thin in the center, in the same way RBC are. The WBC are amoeboid, that is, it forms pseudopodia and keep changing its shape. Whereas platelets are regular, do not have any particular shape, fixed shape. If we talk about the number, the RBC is somewhere about 4.5 to 5.5 million per cubic millimeter. That is quite a high number, and that is the major function of the blood is also. 5,000 to 8,000 WBC are found in per cubic millimeter, but their number increases in case of any infection in our body. So that is what the doctors check when they ask us to go for the blood checkup or blood test. And the number of platelets are somewhere about 0.15 to 0.45 million per cubic millimeter. Their lifespan is somewhere about 4 months. Their lifespan is about 8 to 10 days, and they are also up to 15 days. Their major function is to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is the major function of blood also. That is, there being it has got its own hemoglobin, which takes the oxygen, which we already studied in the respiration. So it is taking the oxygen from the lungs to the body and bringing out carbon dioxide. That is the major function of the RBC. WBC provides immunity. It eats, it engulfs, it detoxicates, it neutralizes the foreign bodies and their substances. And platelets are actually meant for blood clotting. Blood clotting is very important feature of the living in animals. Now, in case of any bleeding, when the blood oozes out, the blood platelets ruptures and they releases a chemical that is called thrombin. Prothrombin it is, and that change into thrombin, and it passes through a series of changes, and then it forms the insoluble fiber, and these insoluble fiber cover the wounds, and the blood corpuscles goes and stuck between them, and within a short span, somewhere about 2 to 5 minutes, the bleeding stops its own if we do not check. Otherwise, bleeding will be controlled by us. That's all about the blood. Now we shall go for the blood circulation. The circulation in human being is closed blood circulation and double blood circulation. There are two types of circulation found in the animals. One is open blood circulation, which is found in most of the invertebrates, and closed blood circulation is the blood remain confined in the blood vessels, and the blood flows in the blood vessels and heart only. It never comes into the tissues or body cavity. The closed blood circulation again is of two types, that's single blood circulation and double blood circulation. Single blood circulation is the one in which the blood in one complete circulation passes from the heart only one times. Whereas in double blood circulation, as the human being, as the diagram is given here, is the one in which the blood passes from heart two times in one complete circulation. Suppose the blood is moving from here, deoxygenated blood from the vena cava opens into the right atrium, right ventricle, and then it goes to pulmonary arteries, goes to the lungs where it gets oxygenated blood, again entering into the heart, into the left atrium to left ventricle, and then through aorta it goes back to the body. So in one complete circulation it going or it is passing through heart two times. Now what is the advantage? Advantage is that the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood remain totally separated. Oxygenated blood flows into the arteries and the deoxygenated blood flows into the veins, so they never mix together. So what is the advantage? Advantage is that the efficiency is more, the body get more or better supply of oxygen. In a single circulation the same blood is carrying the oxygenated as well as deoxygenated blood, so they mixes together and the efficiency of oxygen transport decreases. So that is the advantage, and that is why you will find the double blood circulation in all the birds and mammals which are very active, whereas the other animals in which either blood may be open circulation or closed circulation, or if it, even if this closed circulation, single circulation or mixed circulation, in that case the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood mix together and the efficiency decreases. So these are all the different advantage of the circulatory system. Now the double circulation is divided into two parts, that is the pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Pulmonary circulation is the one in which the blood flows from the right ventricles through pulmonary artery to the lungs, through pulmonary vein, it returns back to left atrium. And the systemic circulation, from the left ventricle the blood goes to aorta, and through aorta it goes to all over the body. After deoxygenation it is collected by the vena cava and open into the right atrium. So this is how the two different types of circulations are there, the systemic circulation and pulmonary circulation. Some more things we have to study is, first is lymph. You know that the blood capillaries are very thin, and the walls of capillaries are so thin, that is where the blood comes with a high pressure in the blood capillaries which are found all over the body in the tissues, then most of the things which can easily filter out the dissolved substances like oxygen, like water, like minerals, and the nutrients which are dissolved in it, that is the glucose and fatty acid and amino acid and all, and these are actually required by the tissues, and thus the tissue's requirement is fulfilled by oozing of these substances through the thin walls of capillaries. But imagine if all these items along with the water keep on flowing out of the capillaries, within no time the blood will dry out, and then the supply or the circulation will stop. Hence there is a need that these things which are filtered out has to be recollected and open into the blood. So that is called lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is actually collecting the fluid which is oozing out from the capillaries in the tissues. The fluid which is coming out into the tissue is known as tissue fluid. When it is collected into the lymphatic vessels, it is called lymph. The lymph is a colorless or rather pale yellow in color, and it is acting as a middleman between the blood and the tissues. It supplies oxygen, it supplies nutrients, and it kills the foreign bodies, and it even helps in the absorption of what you call fats, and most importantly all the living cells require liquid medium, so it is providing the bathe medium to the tissues. Next is blood pressure. Blood pressure, that is whenever heart is exerting or rather heart is pumping the blood is coming out into the arteries with a great force. So this force is actually exerted into the walls of the arteries. The force which is exerted by the blood on the walls of artery is known as blood pressure. And blood pressure has two values, that is the systolic blood pressure and diastolic. Systolic blood pressure is having a higher value, which is somewhere about 120 millimeter of mercury level in a normal person, healthy person at rest. And diastolic blood pressure is 80 mm of Hg at rest in a healthy person. If this value increases or decreases, that is lead to the different type of problem. Increase of the blood pressure above 120 millimeter of mercury level for sufficiently long time is called hypertension or high blood pressure, and fall of this blood pressure below 120 millimeter per mercury level for a long time, then it is called low blood pressure. High blood pressure and low blood pressure both has got their own problems, and that is why the person blood pressure should remain between these two brackets, that is 120 and 80 mm of Hg. When you go to the doctor, or when you might have taken your seniors, that is a parents or grandparents to the doctor, you might have seen the doctor tie something over here and fill some air and something and check onto the mercury level. That device is known as sphygmomanometer. The sphygmomanometer is a device which fills air here in a bag and it compresses the muscles, and we already studied that arteries are found in the muscles, so the muscles will be compressed and the blood flow stops. So when doctor check here on the pulse, he find that there is no blood flow, then that is the higher blood. Now as the air is released, when the first pulsation is felt, that means that is the higher value of the blood pressure, that is systolic blood pressure. And soon after that, when the diastolic blood pressure is measured, then it is known as the diastolic blood pressure. So these two blood pressure are very important to us. Next is pulse. Pulse is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation felt onto the walls of arteries. And pulse is actually a direct measure of the working of heart. That is how many times the heart is beating per minute. For a normal healthy person, it should be somewhere between 70 and 72. If it is more than that, you may be not at rest, you might be running or you may be doing some heavy activity. Otherwise, for a normal person, if it is more, then it is definitely a sign of some irregularity in the body, maybe some disease, maybe some other problems. So with this we come to the end of this chapter, rather this topic. And if you got any problem, you can ask me in the comment section, and do like and share my video with others, and subscribe if you are new, and press the bell icon, then you'll get the information regarding any new videos. Thank you.